Last year, I was here to announce the departure of Dr. Philip Mjwaha to go and be our ambassador at UNESCO, our former DG. This year, I'm very proud to be welcoming and greeting our new DG, Dr. Mlungisi Cele. Let me also greet my special advisor, Mr. Mandela Ngaba, our science expert, Dr. Derek Swartz, and the chairperson of the NSTF, Professor Jeffrey Mpahlele. And your dear wife. We are glad to see the two of you here. Let me also greet the CEO of NSTF, Jansi Niehaus, and your better half. You make me feel guilty now that I left my own better half at home. You are both welcome. Let me also brief Professor Rensbeck, who is chair of our UNESCO Commission, all the deputy directors general and other senior government officials who are here, heads, chairs, and CEOs of our science institutions, as well as heads of our academic institutions who are here. I'm sorry I can't mention all of you. The attendance looks very good from these categories of leaders. Leaders of business, especially also to greet South 22 and for having continued being a loyal partner and supporter. We wish to set an example for many other businesses that we need them in buckets to be partners in the science and technology agenda for our country. Let me also greet the adjudicators and finalists, our Brilliance Program students, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the honor of inviting me to come and deliver this keynote address at this prestigious occasion of the 2025 NSTF South 32 Awards. Let me also take this opportunity to congratulate the NSTF on the milestone of hosting the 27th edition of these awards. I also wish to congratulate you on reaching your 30th anniversary as an organization. For the purpose of this occasion, I wish to reflect on several issues which I believe are pertinent to a gathering of this nature. On the importance of quantum science and technology for Department of Science and Technology and Innovation strategic priorities. My apologies, I jumped to greet members of the diplomatic corps who are here with us. You are most welcome. It's not because you are less important. Sometimes you're so much part of us, we just even forget to greet you specially. You are most welcome in this gathering. The first is the importance of quantum science and technology in advancing the strategic priorities of our department. As it has already been pointed out, 2024, the United Nations declared 2025 as the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology. This was in celebration of the centenary of the development of the theory of quantum mechanics. Therefore, your chosen theme for this year's awards is particularly apt. Although I must say I was really battling in Umhlobo Wenene to explain quantum science. And we have a challenge, by the way, as the science community, to make sure that we develop, especially the African languages in this country, to become languages of science and academia. Otherwise, science won't move forward. I tried when 2012, I set up a team to look at the development of African languages to become languages of science, business, and academia. That project collapsed, led by someone who I hear goes around saying, I collapsed it. I want to put it on record that whenever you hear that person, because he's an elder, I'm not going to name him. When he says, I collapsed the project, just ask him, speak the truth. Aren't you the person who actually collapsed that project? Now, I don't want to name him, because myself at my age now, I've become an elder. And elders always respect each other. Now, as a department, we've long recognized the transformative potential of quantum science and its role in contributing to the building of a more inclusive and connected world. This is why in 2021 we adopted a framework for quantum technology-driven research in South Africa, which gave rise to the South African Quantum Technology Initiative. It's got an acronym because we love acronyms, which I don't think is quite appropriate. It's called SA-QUIT. Can't be appropriate. We are not quitting. We are here. In support of quantum science and technology and its cognate areas over the years, we also supported research chairs in mathematical models and processes in engineering biosciences, biostatistics, applied maths to natural and human systems, mathematical and theoretical physics, biosciences, and many other related domains. More fundamentally, we also recognize the potential of quantum science and technology to pivot the research and innovation priorities in our country's decadal plan for science, technology, and innovation. As you may be aware, these priorities of our decadal plan include the following: modernizing existing industries such as mining, manufacturing, and agriculture, new sources of growth such as the circular and digital economies, health, innovation, and energy, innovation-enabled capable state, and innovation for service delivery, and what we call societal grand challenges, such as climate change, environmental sustainability, the future of education, skills, and work, and the future of society. Let me also touch a little bit on the impact of the current global shifts that we are witnessing. I don't intend to speak forever, by the way, but I think it's important that I raise these issues. And I also hope you don't get constipated. But we've already heard. Hansi, this is very smart. We are the only entity I know that starts with dinner. So that by the time we speak, no one's stomach will be negatively affected. Now, this 27th edition of the NSTF South 32 Awards takes place against the backdrop of a complex set of global challenges, some of which include economic stagnation, rising social inequality, the persistence of armed conflict, including the genocide in Gaza, something I never thought I will ever see live in my life, the negative impact of climate change, technological disruption, and new tensions arising from a growing push towards unipolarity and bullying by some countries. Some of us have to say these things. Even if some of you may not be quite comfortable, we have to say these things because they are true. One of the consequences of these seismic geopolitical shifts has been the withdrawal of funding by the US government for key scientific projects between the United States and South African research and academic institutions. In response to this, I established a working group to advise me on the impact on these funding cuts on our science system. I'm very pleased to state that the working group, which I appointed when in May, yes, in May, early May, has completed its work already and did so within the allocated deadline by the 30th of June. I'm currently processing the report of the working group, and through our Director General, Dr. Cele, we are preparing to present its findings to Cabinet of the Republic of South Africa and also to Parliament, after which we will circulate this report to all of you, and we urge you to read it. The most enduring lesson that we have learned from the funding cuts by the United States and our inability to gain easy access to vaccines during the global outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic is that as a country and continent, we must prioritize the development of what I refer to as a sovereign research and development agenda, including the production of vaccines and other therapeutics for diseases that are predominant in our African continent. This must be on the agenda of every science institution and science entity. Now, the next issue that I wish to reflect upon briefly is the importance of deliberately and consistently enhancing our country's scientific capabilities. Over the past 3 decades, also the 3 decades of the existence of the NSTF, the democratic government has made a number of important investments in the development of our country's scientific capabilities and infrastructure. In addition to establishing a standalone Department of Science, Technology and Innovation in 2004, I'm saying standalone from 2004 because between 1994 and 2004, this was the Department of Culture, Arts, Science and Technology. So it combined quite a number of things. We expanded our public science system by establishing specialist entities such as the Technology Innovation Agency, the South African National Space Agency, and the National Intellectual Property Management Office. These and other interventions have made it possible for our country to earn the privilege of co-hosting one of the biggest scientific projects in the world today, the Square Kilometre Array. These investments also made it possible for our scientists to identify the genome of a new and virulent SARS-CoV-2 variant, later named derisively by some of our detractors as the South African COVID or South African variant. By the way, when I visited the National Institutes of Health in the United States a few years ago, where President Trump, in his first term, was admitted for COVID, the director was acting at the time, came and said he wants to welcome me personally because he heard that South African Minister of Science is visiting those institutes. It's the biggest research centers, health research centers in the world, by the way. They've got about 9,000 doctoral graduates there and 12,000 who are linked throughout the world. He said, I've come, Minister, to welcome you. The first thing I want to say to you, we apologize for having named that variant that you discovered as the South African variant. In fact, had we not known properly about that variant, many more Americans would have died from COVID-19. That's the pride and the achievement of our own scientists as South Africa. Equally important, in May last year, together with the University of Pretoria and other institutional partners, we launched the Nuclear Medicine Research Infrastructure, NUMERI, at the Steve Biko Academic Hospital. I'm immensely proud of this facility. It's the only facility of its kind in the world. It uses nuclear isotopes for cancer diagnosis and cancer therapeutics. And we want to say to our detractors, don't come and say we are developing nuclear technology for other things. It's only for treating and diagnosing cancer. This state-of-the-art facility, as I have said, intends to advance drug development and clinical research and provide cutting-edge diagnostics and treatment in relation to cancer, tuberculosis, and other major diseases. This facility is part of our department's 13 research infrastructure facilities. We have contributed 720 million rands towards the establishment of this NUMERI facility, and I am pleased, as I have said, it's the only facility of its kind on the African continent. I was recently in Algeria and Tunisia. They can't wait to form a partnership with this facility here in the most southern part of the African continent. All this gives us the honor of having the most advanced and largest public science system in Africa. Now, the next issue is the issue of transformation. Even though we have made commendable progress in growing and expanding our public science system in the last 3 decades, there are still certain aspects of our public science system that continue to concern me very deeply. One is the fact that our country's public science system is still characterized by, among others, the underrepresentation of blacks and women at the highest level. Now, when we raise these things, some people are saying, yes, you are becoming political. It's not being political. Scientific talent in South Africa is in all communities. It's not only in particular communities. So to make sure that members of all our communities are able to become scientists and science practitioners is in the deepest interest of developing this country. Women are more than 51% of our population. They are victims of gender-based violence. How do we hope to develop our country if we are decimating our own women in the manner that it is actually happening through gender-based violence? Similarly, we have to affirm women to be participants in science, as well as black South Africans. In response to this and other transformation deficits, in March this year, I hosted our country's first summit on the transformation of our national system of innovation. The overall intention of the summit really was to say, how do we change this reality? And we've incorporated key resolutions into our own annual performance plan as the department, as well as into our budget vote. Now, as I move towards the end, I want to raise a big issue, Professor Mphahlele, a really big issue. Reimagining the role of the NSTF. It's the first time perhaps I'm talking about this in public. I hope our media, Buhle, is here. Normally our media, I don't know, they don't push as much as I would like them to push about science. I don't know what the reasons are. Now, we need to reimagine NSTF. In many respects, our public science system continues to resemble the pre-1994 special gender and racial divide. Now, it continues to be biased towards the metros and is not evenly articulated at regional and local level. One of our strategic priorities, if you ask me, that's one of my agenda items. Whilst I'm in this role of being Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, is to build a transformed, responsive and agile public science system. Now, I want to put this challenge to the NSTF. You are very well organized here, and we have had a very proud 30 years of the role that we have played. But we need to transition now. Starting the second 30 years. Transition in what way? We need to make sure that we organize science, technology, and innovation below the national level, at provincial level, and at municipal level. How do we organize all those science activities and science entities that are playing a role in the Johannesburg metropolitan city, such that they are able to work in a combined fashion and in a coordinated fashion, bringing together the very same stakeholders that are here, but right up to municipal level? That's the role I would like the NSTF to play. Transitioning. We can't just be talking at this level. We should be having these meetings in KZN, in Limpopo, in the Western Cape, in all our provinces, as well as in our municipalities, including rural municipalities, with the NSTF at the center of the organization of those activities. I come from Pietermaritzburg, Dolopha lami Mgungundlovu. I don't know what science activities are taking place there. I would like to know what science activities, how do you bring together those role players? Because that is how we are going to place, as our mantra says, science, technology, and innovation at the center of government, at the center of industry, at the center of education, and at the center of society as a whole. Unless science makes itself felt in society, it ain't science. And it has no future. That's the challenge I'm putting to the NSTF today. Organize beyond this level and let's go subnational as well. Now, through our DG, I've asked the department to focus and facilitate a more focused discussion with the NSTF leadership on how we can enable the organization to redefine its role in line with the current socio-economic realities of our country. So I'm not just talking. I've already asked the DG and said, DG, one of our tasks, let's restructure and strengthen and focus and refocus this organization. It's got huge potential to do what I'm exactly saying. In conclusion, our department recently adopted a new mantra, which is placing science, technology, and innovation at the center of government, education, industry, and society. And one of the implications of this mantra is that we expect critical role players in our public science system, such as the NSTF, to support our department in making sure that the high-impact scientific work that is being celebrated here tonight is known and eventually appreciated in the villages and townships of our country. Chairperson, I must raise my complaint. You can't have a banner like this without the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation. That's completely out. You are making my work to be so difficult. I go to cabinet, I say the NSTF is playing such an important role, and I'm circulating a document of the NSTF without our department there. Ngizoyisho-ke lento namhlanje. Ngoba angiyisabi into nenza umsebenzi omuhle kabi. We are even doing yourself a big disfavor by not placing us there, because we are there as the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation. As a country, we must never look at our challenges as insurmountable. My most favorite saying from our first president of a democratic South Africa, President Madiba, is my most favorite quote. It always seems impossible until it is done. Okay? That's very powerful. And there is nothing insurmountable for science, by the way. And we must make sure that we are all able to push forward. It is this depth of scientific talent in our country that gives me the confidence to say, through science, technology, and innovation, a better South Africa is possible. Let me then end by congratulating all the winners and thank you for your achievements. And let me mention South 32 Trophy in appreciation of the 10 years of partnerships. We appreciate that. The third Ukosi Award to Mr. David Porter in celebration of the NSTF 30th anniversary. Fiels Gelek David. New category of the NSTF Agricultural Research Council Award, sponsored by the Agricultural Research Council. Congratulations. Most importantly, let me congratulate the most important component of this function, the 19 brilliant students who were selected as part of the NSTF Brilliance Program. Those ones are our future. They are us in future when we are no longer here. I am sorry if I've spoken for a little bit long, but I had to say all these things, and I wish you all the best. Ke a leboga, baie dankie.